So, one of the things that I think we could see in the near future and have literally no idea what to do with is child sized sex robots. What do we do with that?
That's an arresting phrase that isn't often spoken on this podcast or any other. Child-sized sex robot. So this would be as a therapy for pedophiles, or just how do you envision this market even emerging?
Well, I mean, we already have. There was, I think in 2013, Canadian authorities seized a child sized sex doll at the border that a Canadian had ordered from Japan. And so, once we have robots on the market that people can buy, the question is, should those be legal or not? And if you look at there's some analogy here to virtual child pornography, which is, pornography made completely virtually with no real children involved. And countries have come down with on very different sides of whether this should be legal or not. In the United States, it's legal. The Supreme Court has said First Amendment, there's no actual harm here that has to be legal. Other countries have said no fucking way. Like we can't
Mm.
allow this. It's disgusting. And I think nobody has any idea whether allowing it would actually help protect real children because it would provide an outlet for people, or whether it would encourage and normalize and propagate the behavior. And once you have robots, which again bring this to a new level because of this visceral physicality that they have, and we will have this, right? I mean, I see no reason why this wouldn't happen in the next decade, and we don't know what to do with it. So
Mm.
that's why I think research in these areas, or just generally in the areas of how these lifelike robots can shift and change our behaviors in positive and negative ways, is so important right now.
It's a fascinating question. I think now I'm about to express an opinion on virtual child pornography. This is a topic I have not thought much about, but I'm going to recklessly say that I think this is pretty clear what the right stance is here. And it is what you just described as being the US one. The obvious problem with child pornography is that a child was harmed in the creation of it and is harmed by the thing being out in the world thereafter. But this just is like a classic slippery slope situation. If you are going to outlaw virtual, which is to say completely fictional child pornography, then you have to outlaw somebody drawing something that is sufficiently lifelike. Where does that sort of thing stop if artwork can become the equivalent of having actually victimized a child and recorded it on film? I just don't see what the stopping point is if you're going to debate that question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm inclined to agree with you. But then when you bring robots into it, so coming back to Westworld, if the question is, does it make people more callous or make them kind of used to a certain behavior if they go in and, they rape these female robots? If that makes them more likely to go out and then, get a taste for raping real women, obviously that's not good. And that's also something that we could imagine happening, although we have no evidence for it.
Mm.
So, and I realize that this is a slightly bad comparison because we know so little about the psychology of pedophilia. But is it possible that using a robot could whet people's appetites or get them used to it or get them wanting more? We don't know.
You could imagine it going both ways, and then you would just have to sort of count the bodies to see where the balance should swing if you're just worried about the numbers of people who get victimized as a result. I mean, so
What else are you worried about?
I just don't know what that does to the human mind and human ethical norms, over the course of decades and beyond. But it's not clear to me that the only negative consequences can be scored in terms of the numbers of people who get raped as a result.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
It just seems like a giant roll of the dice psychologically.
Yeah, I think I feel like sexuality is still such a mystery to us generally, and very under researched. So it's really not clear to me also how fluid or flexible our sexual preferences are. So if you give people more options, will that just reflect their underlying preferences, or will it actually change over time? The sexual relationships or or preferences that we have? And I'm not sure we know the answer to that.